Welcome to the Travel Man Podcast with your host, Ben. Welcome, travellers. On today's episode, I'll be chatting about a place I've just been to and a place that nearly killed me. Also on the podcast is my lovely wife, Mandy.
Hi, guys.
Hello, Mandy.
Hey, Ben. How are you?
Do you like my little studio?
I love it. It's part of our house, so I do definitely love it.
Yeah. Well, we'll be talking about Playa del Carmen.
Yep.
Which is gorgeous. Everyone should go there, shouldn't they?
Definitely. I enjoyed my time there.
That's good. And I'll also let everyone know how I got really sick in Bangkok.
Yes.
And how I thought the world was going to end for me.
And how lovely I was when that happened.
Guess what made me sick in Bangkok? I'll let you know at the end of the podcast.
Great.
For today's podcast, it's basically one place which I loved and would never want me dead. And would never want me dead. I don't even know what I meant to say there. And a place that I had a super relaxing trip with no food poisoning, and the other place was a place I guess I didn't like it as much, although I do like it now.
I think you're undecided because of the way that you felt.
Yeah, probably.
And you just told everyone why.
Yeah, well, I got really sick in Bangkok, but I still want to go back.
Yeah, I do. I like Bangkok. I think it's a bustling place that every time you go back, you're going to see things that are different.
Oh, for sure. Thailand's cool.
Yeah.
Like, you don't like it much.
I have mixed feelings about Thailand. Definitely is something different. It's probably a really good place to start when you are going to Asia.
Yeah, that's true.
Because sometimes Asia can be confronting for people that aren't used to that sort of culture.
Mm.
And so Thailand is a mix of a bit of Western and a bit of Asian. Why I don't like it is because it can be seedy, and
of course, yeah, it can be super seedy with all those little bars and stuff. But you can stay away from them.
Definitely, but we didn't, so that's probably why I have mixed feelings about it.
Yeah,
not that we went to seedy bars on purpose, but I think with Thailand, it's an interesting place. But Bangkok is quite a melting pot, which is fun.
I thought my belly would be immune, though.
Yeah.
Because I got really sick again overseas in Bintan Island.
In Indonesia,
but you got sick before me, and you were as sick as I was.
True, and we don't really suffer from that sort of stuff, but obviously it shows that if there's unhygienic practices, it's going to happen.
It was a club sandwich, you know.
Do you reckon it was a club
sandwich?
It
was washed in lettuce, definitely.
I don't know. It's hard to pick what we were ill from because the whole setup was a bit dodgy in the first place, so I'm not quite sure which meal tipped us over the edge.
I still like Bintan Island, though. Parts of it. Except for that city tour that guy took us around. Oh, man,
that was the best that he could do. I mean,
yeah,
it was interesting. It was a good eye-opener, but we probably spent too long there, so.
Yeah, well, Thailand's not going to get me again. When I go back, I'm not going to get sick, hopefully.
You could just do my theory. Back. My theory when I got there was to be vegetarian, and I didn't eat any meat for quite some time.
Yeah, but I knew a guy that was vegetarian, and all he ate was lettuce. And he got some kidney infection from washed lettuce.
Well, I didn't eat lettuce. I just ate cooked vegetables.
You know that guy.
I'm not sure.
That guy.
Okay.
Well, anyway, let's start with some more recent better memories and experiences.
Yeah.
As it was only like 3 months ago that we were there.
Probably more like...
Was it 4 months?
Probably almost 6 because...
6 months?
Pretty sure it was June when we were there, so it's now December.
Well, we're going to talk about Playa del Carmen.
Awesome.
6 months ago, I can't believe it. Well, we flew in from San Francisco, as I recall.
Had a very interesting plane ride.
Yeah.
If you recall.
I recall elements of it. I recall the crappy weather in San Francisco.
Yeah, but then we boarded the plane and... I don't know if you remember that guy that was just fidgeting and twitching.
Oh, man, you got to tell this story.
Well...
I'll interject.
Yeah.
Some stage.
Yeah, give me some more detail. Well, as a a traveler that goes on a few planes and probably is not the best flyer. I'm always on edge when I see other passengers that probably are questionable in terms of their behaviour. So this particular guy, firstly, before the plane even took off, he was sitting in one of the exit rows, and as the stewards usually do, will give you the briefing about being in that position and being able to help.
Can you exit the plane? Will you be able to help other people?
Exactly.
All those safety things that you must adhere to if the plane goes down.
So this guy was already kind of like, I don't have enough room here and I don't think I'll be able to help. I want to move. And so the airline stewardess said, well, you're going to have to wait until we take off because, you can't move out of your assigned seat. So begrudgingly, he stayed there. And as soon as we took off, he was moved and he was placed right in front of me. And the whole time that he was there, he was whinging and complaining about the lack of Wi-Fi. He also stated that he was a vegan and couldn't eat any of the snacks. But
you could tell he was a vegan. He had one of those little satchel bags made of twine.
No offense to vegans, sort of, but
remember that?
Those hippie satchel bags, I don't know.
Hippie satchel bags.
Bit useless, wearing a thick jumper on, headed into tropical Caribbean Ocean.
I don't even get it. He didn't have anything but that.
No,
and he had his
and
laptop.
a laptop. And so this guy sat in front of me fidgeting and kept calling over the air stewardess saying, well, the Wi-Fi better work. And she said, well, we're up 30,000 feet or whatever it is, and you can't predict where the Wi-Fi is going to work or not. So, stiff. He wasn't satisfied with that answer, so he got the main manager involved.
Big black guy.
Yeah. He was menacing.
Yeah.
However, I think this guy would just basically ground him down because he just wouldn't let him go. And who knows, I think they exchanged emails by the end of it. I don't even know what happened. Did. So this guy was really, like I said, someone that I wasn't comfortable having in front of me. And at one stage, I think I turned to you and said, can they just kick this guy off? Because he was being very disruptive.
Well, I think you thought maybe they were going to turn the plane around if he was going to be too bad.
Well, he was at that some stages.
And I wouldn't have wanted that.
No.
Not to Mexico.
Definitely not. So in the end, after being annoyed, I suppose, for how many hours was it? 5?
5 hours, I think it was. 5-hour flight from San Fran to Cancun.
Cancun, yeah. So after being annoyed, we get an announcement over the loudspeaker and it says, due to the difficulties with the Wi-Fi and not being able to have access, you'll all be receiving an email from United Airlines to advise you that you have a free gift. So in the end...
Good free gift, wasn't it?
Well, it was. I didn't realise how good it was until about a few months ago when I actually remembered that I had it, 6 months or whatever it was to claim it. Yeah. And this nutbag got us $200 off flights, so $100 voucher each.
So it really wasn't that bad.
So it wasn't that bad in the end. He was quite.
Let's have more nutbags on flights.
Probably not ones out of America or into America. I suppose that's why I was a bit anxious because,
Oh, yeah, I know. You hear horror stories.
True, and I think. I don't know if they'd put up with that sort of stuff on Australian Airlines or international ones. I'm not sure.
I don't think they put up with anything these days.
No.
As soon as there's a slight issue, they'd rather turn the plane around.
And I'm not kind of painting enough of a picture of how disruptive he was, but it was enough for me to say, come on, let's get this guy out of here. So, yeah, in the end, it worked out well for us. And we got to our destination.
So should we thank the airline for the money that they gave us? The discount of our...
Thanks, United.
Thanks, United.
We hope your Wi-Fi ever doesn't work, so we keep getting these vouchers.
We hope your Wi-Fi never works.
That's right.
Just briefly getting back to San Fran, just before we get to Playa del Carmen.
Yeah.
21 degrees in San Francisco felt cold.
Very cold. I think it's the wind.
It's the wind. It's that, what's it called?
The marine layer?
Marine layer, yeah, that blankets the city.
I remember when we were taking the ferry from Sausalito back to...
Sausalito. I love sauce and Lido.
What's Lido?
It's that drink.
It's Lido with that's lemonade, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So heading back from Sausalito back to San Francisco, I think it was probably Fisherman's Wharf or something like that.
Yeah, it was Fisherman's Wharf.
We went through, those foggy, that looks like fog, but it's actually the marine layer. We went from a sunny Sausalito through that marine layer and back out again, and it was absolutely freezing in that
Couldn't
part.
see the bridge.
No, couldn't see anything. It was crazy.
Like, it's crazy.
But you can be at the top of a really steep street and look down, and all you can see is nothing.
Oh my
nothing,
God.
actually.
That's true. I wonder how the planes land sometimes when it's...
Quite a busy airport too, I think.
Yeah. Oh, it's really busy.
But it was a great city.
We also stayed in San Diego, which was fun, and Los Angeles as well before San Fran.
Yeah.
But I feel like LA and San Diego is hot.
Really hot. I
Pretty
think
hot.
San Diego took the cake, I suppose, when it came to the weather, because
Do you think it was more humid?
for some reason it was super humid.
Yeah.
Really humid. And I think all of the natives said the same. So it must have just been a humid time when we were there. Which
I think
happens.
so.
But they were great. Great cities. I really enjoyed LA.
Yeah.
Loved LA. One
Yeah.
of my favourite places. Hence why we're going back.
Yeah, we'll be going back next year in May.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Can't wait to.
Doing LA. I probably talked about it before, but we're doing LA, going back to San Diego, flying across to New York, then flying down to Miami.
Yeah.
Because we've never been to Miami,
No.
but we've done New York.
Yeah. It'll be 13 years since
13
we've
years.
been on our honeymoon.
Crazy. That was so much fun the first time.
It was.
Remember the woman selling socks? Can you...
It was a man selling
was it
socks.
a man? I always thought it was a
And
woman.
you want me
A
to
wall
do my
man.
impression?
Yes, please.
And I don't think I can.
Okay, was it 2 pairs of women's socks for the wholesale price of $1?
Spot on.
Name it, I'm good. All right, so leading up to the trip to Playa del Carmen, we made sure we tried a ton of Mexican food.
Yeah.
A ton.
And that was mostly in Los Angeles. The Mexican food here in Australia is a bit questionable in some places. And
I love Mexican food now.
well, I wasn't a fan. I was like, Mexican food is
No.
just boring and there's nothing much to it. And
I thought the same.
But having gone to LA, which blew my mind because
Yeah.
of the cultural melting pot that it is,
So is...
staying in downtown as well, in amongst it all, and trying some really awesome food, even in San Diego too, being so close to Mexico as well, it was just an eye-opener for both of us.
Yeah, San Diego is like 10 minutes from Tijuana.
Tijuana,
Or
yeah.
Tijuana
And I mean,
something.
I'd love to do Baja California as well,
Oh,
just to
yeah.
see bits of it.
Same
but
here.
having experienced some Mexican culture, it's just phenomenal. The food was definitely not what I had expected. And really, it was something that we were both looking forward to, actually having some authentic stuff.
Well, we hadn't had authentic quesadillas or burritos or tortillas.
I suppose we had maybe interpretations of it, modern ones, but along similar lines.
Australian versions.
Oh, I mean, yeah, in Australia, yeah. They were pretty poor.
Yeah. But the quesadillas and burritos and so forth, I didn't have burritos until I was in Mexico, but the quesadillas and the tortillas in LA were pretty good.
They were amazing. Really,
And
the fish tacos, which are my
I was going
favorite.
to say those crispy circular breads, that are
they-
topped with all the yummy
But
Mexican
we didn't have those
vegetables.
until Mexico, which were
Oh.
tostadas. We didn't have those until Mexico.
So basically, we left the burritos and tostadas for the Mexicans.
yeah,
And let the Americans cook us quesadillas and tortillas.
Tacos, you mean?
Probably. I don't think we had
bread.
tacos.
Of course we did.
Which ones are tortillas?
Tortillas are the actual bread.
What are the tostada?
Tostadas are the
getting mixed up.
fried tortillas.
Oh.
You know the circular breads that they make tacos? That's
Yeah.
tortilla. And then when they deep fry them, that's a tostada.
Okay, too much.
So anyway, we've become experts somewhat in Mexican
You're the
food.
expert. I'm not. I just eat
as soon as I
stuff.
got back from Mexico, I bought myself, well, I actually looked online. I bought myself a tortilla press.
You sure did.
Bought myself a tortilla warmer. I got I got some background music. I bought myself a tortilla warmer.
Crisis averted. I moved the background music to the end of this track. Like I said, I'm still learning. Don't
Yeah.
hate me. It wasn't supposed to be where it was, but we were talking about warmed up. I don't know.
We were talking about what I bought when we got back from Mexico because
That's
I
right.
love the food so much. So, yeah, a tortilla press, a tortilla warmer, plus white corn flour, yellow cornflour, oregano that's Mexican, and a really cool Mexican cookbook that we've cooked from a couple of times. So
yeah, that's a good book.
it definitely changed my mind about Mexican food, and the whole of Los Angeles, I think, is just an amazing place full of different well, I'm a music person, you know
I
that.
thought you were about to say mutant.
My brain thinks faster than I speak sometimes.
I've learned to slow down my brain somehow.
Slow down your brain, is that a good thing?
Yeah, sure. It just means I can talk and think at the same time and
That's
know what I'm
awesome.
about to say.
That's really good.
Like this. I didn't realise that they serve corn chips at the start.
Oh.
Like, it's too much. It's actually too much. What do they think, that you're just going to order, like, then a small meal?
I don't
mean,
know.
it's silly.
Sometimes we stopped and had chips and beers, and that was it.
But but that's the thing. It stops you actually from eating more. They should actually limit the amount of corn chips that they give you.
Yeah, perhaps.
I mean, that's just a third world issue, isn't it? Or
First
world, third
yeah.
world are eating corn chips, but nothing else.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was great, and we loved it. And I think Los Angeles was a great precursor to Mexico.
But how different was the food in LA, San Diego, and San Fran?
Oh, all very different.
It was all different.
Very, very different. And I mean, we're food people, I suppose.
We're foodies.
We live in Melbourne. It's one of the best places to eat in the world, and we're very spoiled here. And so we often will seek out good food when we do go to places. I think if I compare the three places, I mean, Los Angeles had awesome food. San Diego had great food, but awesome beers, really good drinks.
San Diego's got an amazing beer
awesome
scene.
drinks. And I mean, San Francisco, the only thing I could say about its food is that it's really pricey. And we
Cleaned us out.
Yeah, it definitely cleaned us out. And I suppose the one place that sticks out was that, you know, that pot place.
Oh,
you know, the Chinese place.
Next
What do you
door
call
to
that?
our hotel. It was a
I
hot
don't
pot.
know. Hot pot, that's it.
And it was Mongolian
awesome.
Mongolian hot
So,
pot
I
place.
mean,
It was awesome.
That was good bang for your buck and filling
I felt
and
really
delicious.
full.
How did this end up being a food podcast?
That's
Were we
cool.
talking about Mexico?
I love food. We're going to get on to our trip to not Cancun, but Playa del Carmen.
We drove right out of Cancun.
But the reason why food's actually what binds this podcast, because Mexican food is what made me sick in Bangkok.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, this podcast is a lot to do with, you know, the food I ate, Mexican food.
Okay, so
I ate great Mexican food in Playa del Carmen, and I had horrible Mexican food with Matt, my brother, and a few others. I think Lincoln was there.
Yeah.
In Bangkok, somewhere in Bangkok, they really wanted Mexican food.
Yes.
They were hungry for it.
Yeah.
And, you know, the next day, it was both ends.
So from what I recall of that, and I forgot that was what the reason why Mexico and Thailand are together.
That's why I put them together.
From what I recall that night, it was the four of us going out to dinner, and we had, well, the guys had decided they wanted Mexican. Now, like I told you, before I went to the States and Mexico this year, I wasn't a fan anyway. So my preference was not to eat it, and I don't think I did. Or if I did, I ate something very basic. It wasn't probably the pork or whatever you guys ate. But it was in Sukhumvit, which is like, you know, the busiest place in Bangkok.
That's right.
With all the shops. Yeah. With all the shopping, and it was not a traditional place. It was probably a real tourist trap, I reckon.
It was. It was just, you know, a simple it wasn't like one of those traditional Taiwanese buildings. It was just a normal building, a modern building with modern glass windows, a modern door. Everything about it screamed, you're going to get sick.
Exactly. And so I avoided it like I usually do. I have my senses and wits about me, but as men do, they don't think about...
What did you eat? Do you remember?
I don't even think I ate much. I probably started to eat something really basic, but I remember just stopping eating it altogether because
I remember.
Because do you remember what I ate?
Yeah, no, what I ate.
Oh, what did you have?
I'm pretty sure it was a burrito.
I'm pretty sure it was too.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Was it pork or was it beef?
I don't know.
Or?
I think it was beef, but it could have been... no, I reckon it was chicken.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So that would make
sense.
a lot of sense. Like getting sick on a chicken burrito.
But I think the guys didn't get sick. It was just you. But they had been sick.
Yeah.
Everyone at some stage
Everyone
had been
had
sick
been
on that trip, except for me. I can hail that as my only.
Yeah, you did well.
Yeah. But the guys had all been sick on, I think, a lot of pork. And I think you had lasted, and then this just broke you in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it did break me, and it's why Thailand had that, or no, not Thailand, more so Bangkok, had that disgusting taste in my mouth, because I knew I was sick there, and I just don't want to go back there and get sick again.
Yeah, but I think we're a bit older and wiser too, and less under the influence of other people.
That's true.
So, I mean, we had been to Koh Samui and we'd been to Krabi, and we hadn't had any issues at all.
No,
and then
that's true.
Going into Bangkok is just a poor choice one night.
Poor
Ends up
choice.
costing you.
Wasn't my choice, though.
No,
It was their choice.
exactly. But anyway, let's move on to Mexico.
Yeah, so we flew into Cancun Airport.
Yeah.
Which you have to, because Playa del Carmen doesn't have an airport, or if it does, I'm unaware, and it must be very small. But we flew into Cancun Airport, and Cancun is about 45 minutes north of Playa del Carmen.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to, we didn't drive. We had a guy from our hotel to pick us up and drive us down to Playa del Carmen.
Yep, in a nice air-conditioned van because it was really hot.
Yeah, actually, if you've just come from America, you've got to keep tipping, because you have to tip in Mexico for a lot of things.
Yeah, like service, like a driver.
Services, for instance.
I mean, but in restaurants, I don't think we really tipped much.
No, we didn't tip much.
Yeah.
But remember, you're not tipping a lot anyway.
No.
It's... So
the pesos are favourable to us.
they are to us, and obviously to the Americans and Europeans.
Definitely the Europeans were getting a real...
And the
really,
English would have...
Oh, my God. They had such good
They're
value.
so lucky.
Yeah.
So the drive from Cancun to Playa del Carmen was, remember that really long straight road?
Yeah.
Had a few bumps to go over where the guy kind of stopped but kind of didn't. There was police checkpoints.
Yeah.
But I don't know why they're there.
Oh,
Because
we
you
weren't
just keep
stopped
going
at all.
through.
No,
He wasn't. The police weren't, pulling anyone over. They let us go right through. Maybe if there's a big issue, like as in, when Cancun's had terror-related issues with the nightclubs and so forth.
Yeah.
Maybe it's got to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
They've got police there on standby just in case, because Playa del Carmen is real gorgeous. A lot of resorts there. I think all the all-inclusives. The all-inclusives are located on that strip of road.
Oh, the big places we drove
remember
past.
The big places with the big palm trees, big walls.
I don't know if they're all located there, but I
Probably
would
the
assume
majority of them would be.
Majority would be, because it would be a real hassle to be located there and not be so close to that main street.
Yeah.
And you would need to have something there that would cater for everything that you required, because it's really going to be a hassle to go to town every night. And we purposely steered away from an all-inclusive. It's not our style, I don't think, to eat food that's probably not our choice or not real authentic to the place that we're in.
Maybe we should talk about what an all-inclusive is, though.
So I figure, I've never experienced one, but we did a bit of research before we left, and I've spoken to some people as well in regards to the all-inclusive experience in Mexico. And what they can tell me is obviously it includes all your food and all your drinks, inclusive in the price of what you paid for the accommodation.
Exactly.
So the idea is that you pretty much don't leave the resort unless you're wanting to, because you can actually eat and drink the whole time there as part of the package that you pay for.
Yeah.
But often what happens, and what I've heard, is that the food is pretty average.
Oh, it's average because it's kind of all bundled together.
Yeah,
They're going to want to save some money.
Exactly. And I think the drinks I've heard are not always the most strongest of alcohols, or
watered down margaritas.
Perhaps. And also when we heard about how you would pretty much have all your meals in the one place, it turned us off a bit, because that's not what we're used to.
Absolutely. Yeah, so All inclusives, probably not my choice of resort.
Me too.
But, it's good for some people, people that just want to know, right, this is how much I'm spending on my holiday. And it's not going to go over. It's not going to go under. And, So, I remember arriving at Playa del Carmen and the driver took us through some of those little back streets.
Yeah.
Did it remind you of the back streets of like Malaysia or Thailand?
Probably
parts of it.
Oh, yeah. I suppose a little bit of Malaysia, a bit of Langkawi.
Langkawi. I love Langkawi.
But what was great about that driver was he pointed out a couple of restaurants that we probably should go try. So we tried to remember where they were, and then
Too hard.
No, we did. We went to one of them.
Did we?
The first night.
That one?
Yeah, that was.
Was that one of them?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
And
that was nice.
And so it was good to get our bearings driving in the way he did, because you've got the main street, and that was Fifth Avenue in English, but I can't remember what it is.
It's Fifth Avenda or something like that.
Yeah. Quinta
Avenda or something
I don't
like
know.
that.
So obviously we speak really good Spanish, but
yeah. And I was like Quinta Avenda.
And you know how
that sounded like I'm singing a song.
I mean, in all the places we've been to with a sort of tropical location, you've always had like a main street where you go.
There's always a main street that you can walk up and down. They sell souvenirs. They sell food. They try and sell you tours.
Interesting stuff.
There was a few homeless coming into Playa del Carmen, but I guess I kind of expect that.
Man,
it's not like Mexico's.
After being in LA, I don't even think I noticed them. In LA, they're just part of the furniture. But
well, yeah, I mean, LA's no. San Francisco was worse for homeless.
Actually, you're right.
That was real bad. I was shocked.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised too.
But I was shocked when I got out of the Uber. Was it an Uber we took when we were when we approached our our Airbnb in LA in downtown?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that kind of whoa.
It was pretty
really
confronting.
Opened my eyes.
Yeah.
But,
so getting.
I was going to say, remember when we approached our resort?
Yeah.
You could see that we were in paradise. that place. I can mention it here. It's Grand Hyatt Beach Resort. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
I would recommend it to anyone. But it's like this large rectangular resort with an amazing foyer, which, looks out over the ocean. And it was... Do you remember what time we arrived? It's in my notes. I put later in the day. I was trying to figure out if it was later in the day or was early in the morning or mid-morning.
I feel like it was early in the morning for some reason, because we had a really bad experience with the front desk, if you recall.
And it was going darker.
But I feel like it was more early morning, because that same person served us as we were leaving, and it was really early morning when we left. So I feel like she did the night shift. So I think we came really early in the morning, because we were quite tired, and she was like the night duty person.
Was that the same day that we met our New York Jew friend? Because I kind of remember fixing all that stuff up, going to our hotel room being really freezing cold. I don't get that.
I do. I know. I worked it out, remember?
Oh, yeah.
You turn up the temperature, because we're not used to 18 degrees freezing cold air conditioning. If you turn up the temperature, it made everything wet with humidity, like the tiles in the
that's
room.
Right.
Plus, it would make everything all wet, so we had to keep it at that temperature.
Yeah, but I remember actually resting there for a little while, getting up.
Yeah.
Like maybe an hour later.
Okay.
And then I don't know, it felt like it was
going
going dark.
Maybe it was late afternoon and I'm just mistaking it for another time, but I suppose it's not important.
Yeah, look, it's not important, but we had flown into San Fran. We were tired. 5 hours later, our last penny, damn you, San Francisco, you took everything from us. We didn't have not much in reserve, did we? Well, that's between you and I anyway.
Well, we did. I mean, we had the accommodation sorted. But the thing with the Grand Hyatt, and something you should know, it is an absolutely stunning place and definitely worthwhile. But they have a crazy incidental amount. So I think it was
it's 1,200.
No, I think it was more. I think it was more like 1,400.
Oh yeah,
and that. When you're not expecting it.
It was a big surprise.
So, however, it became useful for us because obviously anything we ordered came off that incidental amount, drinks and whatnot. So it was good, but if you are going there, just expect that you need to have that money available to be held on a credit card.
Do you think they charge you $1,400 for incidentals?
I think it's
because they don't want you to leave the room upside down or steal the TV
exactly.
or drink the wine or eat the chockies.
Exactly. And given the length of our stay, which was 7 nights, so I suppose they charge you, $200 a night?
Mm-hmm. I remember looking at forums, though, when we got home.
Yeah.
And it was an issue with that Hyatt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people on forums had said that they complained of the same issue.
Yeah, so
of that incidental up front that they weren't aware, and it's not on the website anywhere. So
yeah,
if you are going to that resort, make sure that you do have a bit on your credit card. Otherwise, you might have to find a new resort,
which is not fun.
And I was scared that maybe that was where we were heading down, but I knew we were okay.
No, I'm a bank manager by trade, so.
She is.
So I knew it was okay. It was just, like I said, that one person didn't know how to use merchant terminals.
That's true, actually. She didn't have a clue about the merchant terminals. I told her to use
a different one and it worked.
But, other than her, because she wasn't that nice to us when we left either.
No.
I think she's on that morning shift or night shift for a reason.
Yeah, potentially.
But the rest of the people were amazing.
Amazing
people.
Yeah, an amazing experience with really amazing people. Andrea, the pool manager, she was phenomenal.
The best.
She was absolutely phenomenal every single day, welcoming us and having a chat, and we got to know each other quite well. You in particular made some other attendees laugh quite a bit.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
No, that was a classic.
Super friendly. I mean, that's what you expect from somewhere like where we stayed, 5-star place, but it seemed to be really genuine.
But as soon as we, relaxed, it was the most amazing place. I remember, when you look past the reception and you see those different levels, and it kind of it descends with the stairs level. But you got like little bars that stopped you along the way, and then you can see like the vision of like that turquoise water.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I've never seen anything that good. And then you go down to where the pool area is, which is like one square pool to the left.
Yeah.
And then some other pools broken up, and they're infinity pools.
Yeah.
Then you got some children pools as well.
Yeah.
But the pool where it was the infinity edge, molded into the seawater incredibly.
You mean from when you're viewing it from?
Yeah, when you're viewing it, from above when you're not in the water.
Look, it was a really spectacular view, and something that I suppose for us, even though who is very focused on paying for things, was really quite angry at the situation with the incidental.
Yeah.
It automatically made me go, oh, okay, I understand what I'm paying for now. I don't mind. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, but I think one of the things we really wanted to do with this trip was experience some Mexican culture, and I don't mean the cheese kind either.
Oh.
Thank you for laughing. If you didn't laugh, that joke wasn't going to work. Thanks, Mandy.
That's what wives do.
I know that, I myself really wanted to experience Mexicans, food, how they live. And we did. We did. We realized that, they don't have a lot of money.
No.
And they do everything they can to make money, either if that's selling cans on the beach or selling little bracelets and stuff. But they're cute people. They're absolutely cute.
Beautiful.
Cute people. We don't like the glitz and glamour of things. except for
No.
when it comes to hotels or resorts. Other than that, we're pretty cool people that
I mean,
don't get fooled.
This sounds really, I don't know, kind of pompous, I suppose, but I feel like I don't want to stay anywhere worse than my house.
No, that's fair enough. I
So-
wouldn't want to stay anywhere worse than my house. My
And
house
I mean,
is cool.
and I suppose that comes with, as you get older, you're like, oh, I don't want to really struggle. Can't be bothered.
But that's one of the reasons why we travel so much. We want to leave this wonderful place we call our house. We want to go somewhere really, really cool. And then when we come back to our house, we'll go, oh, man,
Great to be home.
so good to be home.
Yeah.
That's why we do travel frequently.
Yep.
And we love to experience different things.
Sure. Definitely.
One thing that we like to do is always escape tourists. Australian tourists, actually. And we always do an amazing job of that.
Yeah.
But, geez, our accents are terrible. They really are.
We do
bad
apologize.
accents.
We do apologize for them. It is known to be quite a hybrid accent, our accent.
It's one accent.
Is it? What do you mean? No. It's,
Yeah, I read something and they said Australians have one accent. They don't change depending on what state you're in.
You reckon?
Yeah, I read something.
Oh.
Whereas, the US has a different
yeah.
accent for every state.
I mean, I think we sound different in different states, but
Sydney siders sound more posh.
they do. And I feel like West Australians sound more English.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there are a lot of English people in Western Australia. So,
And,
you know
yeah.
what? Maybe over time, Western Australians will sound like a weird mix of English
But I
Australian.
heard a linguist talk about Australian accents,
Mm.
and he said because of our convict culture,
That we
and-
call like this.
well, I don't know if you call it a culture, sorry, our convict pass,
It's a past, not
they,
a culture.
because they came from different parts of the UK, I think, don't quote me on this,
I won't.
but I feel like he had said that we're a mishmash of all sorts of different, I suppose, country accents, and that us and the New Zealanders are quite distinct in the way we speak. And so I think he was putting it into context around how actors would put on an American accent. I don't know if you remember watching that YouTube video.
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
he was talking about how Americans, I think, find it really difficult to do an Australian accent. But having said that, I think anyone will find it difficult to do an Australian accent
Yeah, we do
because
the
it
best.
is horrible.
We do the best Australian accent.
We do. But yeah, our accent sticks out. And I remember realizing how bad my accent was when I was in Croatia.
Yeah.
And so my background is Croatian. So when we were there and we were sitting down ordering some food, I was doing it in Croatian.
That's right, I remember.
And I looked across and overheard another person ordering as well. And she was also a visitor, like me, born in another country, but of Croatian parents. And she was from England. And she was doing her ordering in Croatian too.
Did she sound English?
She sounded horrible. When she spoke Croatian, it was like, oh, grating. And then I had an epiphany and went, oh, shit. That's what I sound like.
Yeah.
So I know now that my accent definitely sticks out, and even speaking a language I've spoken my whole life, it still comes out.
Some people say I don't sound Australian and that I sound something else. I've had people actually say, where are you from? Australia, man.
But going back to what you were saying around avoiding people from Australia,
Yep.
you can't avoid us because once we open our mouths, my God, you're going to hear us.
We sound like dickheads, really.
It's horrible.
But look, if you're trying to avoid tourists, then
Yeah.
Playa's not the place.
No.
And neither is Cancun.
No.
Actually, just stay at home. Don't go on holidays.
I mean,
don't travel.
yeah, the bush.
The bush, go into the bush, set up tent, be by yourself. But where was I? I was going to say, with the accents,
Yeah.
Australian accent is really noticeable in crowds. But with Playa del Carmen, there was a lot less Australians than there was probably if you're in Cancun, where the majority of them would go because it's just easier.
I can't say much about Cancun because we actually didn't give it any time of day at all. As we flew in, it looked like quite a big city.
I'm just guessing.
Bigger than what I thought.
Yeah.
However, in Playa del Carmen, I suppose there was Europeans, there was Americans.
There was Swedish.
Swedish, definitely. There was smatterings of
There wasn't any
Aussies.
Chinese.
No Asians.
No Indian people
Not at all.
of that ethnicity.
Lots of Portuguese actually, because remember there's a direct flight that flies from
that's right.
Lisbon.
Is that a TAP flight?
I think so. And they arrived at the same time we did it at the airport.
That's
there was
right.
heaps of Portuguese around. So Spaniards
That was actually
as well.
quite easy
Yeah.
from memory, getting out of
The customs
yeah.
and the immigration,
Yeah,
definitely really easy. Much easier than America.
Oh, no, America's hard. You've got to take off your shoes.
You got to spend
your
hours
belt,
at the airport.
everything. You got to nearly be naked.
Yeah. But so unavoidable tourism is huge in Playa del Carmen. I'm not sure how it compares with Cancun. Like I said, I've never been there, but just judging by the scale of how big Cancun looked flying in, I think that it would be a lot more busier.
You know, I remember the street that we walked up and down on in Playa del Carmen. It's called Calle. I think it's Calle Quinta Avinda.
So the Fifth Avenue, I think that's what it
so
is.
Calle, Calle, Quinta, Quinta,
Yep.
Avenida, Avenida. And I've got a funny story to tell about going out to dinner with you. Remember that guy? Well, there was a few. There was a guy trying to sell wristbands. There was a guy trying to sell us, I don't know, a trip on jet skis or whatever.
Yeah.
Not really interested too much about that. But there was also that other guy that tried to sell me his sister and then tried to sell me some cocaine.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I did not expect that because I've never been offered someone's sister or cocaine in the same breath.
It was
I just kept on walking.
You kept on walking, but your facial expression had changed, and I think you stopped.
I was sour.
You stopped me and said, "Did you see what that guy just said to me?"
Yeah.
And I said, "No." He goes, "He offered me his sister, and I don't think it was his sister."
No, it was the weirdest thing in the world, and that was the only little issue we had in Playa del Carmen. Other than that, most amazing place to visit. I love Playa.
Playa was cool because you know how we were saying when you stay somewhere tropical and you've got a main street. That main street that you mentioned was
Calle Quinta
Avinda. Was long. That was a really long main street.
It's a walk forever.
Yeah, and we never experienced anything like that. And what was awesome was, like I mentioned, Andrea at Grand Hyatt, we said to her, look, we've been up and down the main street and we want somewhere really cheap and good to eat because we'd gone to some Mexican places that were on that main drag, but they were, they were okay. They were pretty good.
They were okay.
But as we got more experimental and we found other places, they were just so much better. And she said to us as we exited our hotel, don't kind of go left, go right. And so we did that.
That happened in LA too.
Yeah, that's true. And then we found this awesome, like what you were mentioning before, the tostadas.
Oh.
The layered fried tortillas.
That place that only sold the fish ones?
No,
Do you mean that joint?
I think they had more than just fish, but we ended up eating a lot of fish because it was just so fresh.
Fish is so good there.
It was phenomenal. And the tostadas were, flavors we hadn't had combined before. And the Dos Icos amber beers were just phenomenal.
Oh, Dos Icos amber ale.
They were pretty cool.
But I drank Pacifico most of the time.
Pacifico was our beer of choice.
Oh, yeah, it was.
And obviously our margaritas.
Yep.
Not frozen, please. No. Gross. And so it was awesome. So if you are going to Playa del Carmen and you're not staying in all-inclusive, which I would suggest you don't, ask the locals. Find out where they go to eat, and you will be really, really rewarded. And we do that often when we travel.
Always.
You can only do so much without local knowledge. And one thing I would definitely say, remember that buffet breakfast we had, and we had some Mexican hot chocolate?
Yep.
OMG. That was good.
It was expensive.
So no, what? Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. We didn't pay for it anyway. The Mexican hot chocolate is really cool because
it's amazing.
Obviously, they pride themselves on their long history with cacao and chocolate.
Cacao or cocoa?
I don't know. Is there a difference?
I don't know. I had a conversation with one guy once, and there was a difference. Someone else told me there isn't. So
okay, so chocolate.
Cocoa.
So what they do is they add some little spices into their hot chocolates, and it was.
Do you remember
so
what
cool.
the spices are?
I reckon they're cardamom. I think.
Yeah, you're right. I think
feel
it was
like
cardamom.
it's cardamom and something else. And so when we had it at our buffet breakfast that cost us an arm and a leg,
Oh my god,
we
was
were
expensive.
shopping for some souvenirs, and we asked a gentleman of Mayan descent.
He's
said,
so nice.
Listen, we need to find out where we can buy this hot chocolate because I need to take some home. Like, I love it. And he goes, "Oh, you got to go to that big shop. What's the big shop called?"
I don't remember the name of the big shop,
it's like
but
an American
it's huge.
chain, I think.
It's a big American chain, yeah.
And is it American?
It's nowhere in my notes.
I can't
so
remember.
I forget the name of the place.
And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Yep, you got to go there and you got to buy." I said, "Which
starts
one?"
with W?
Maybe. And his Walgreens?
I think it was.
No,
yeah.
Walgreens is those
No,
chemist
it was the
places.
other one.
I don't know. Anyway,
Is the other one Americans?
tell us, Americans.
Tell us, Americans. Tell us, Travelman at Gmail. Yeah,
Travelman
podcast at gmail.com. Thanks, Mandy.
You're welcome.
Continue on.
So we don't have enormous supermarkets like you guys do in the States or, in this case, in Cancun.
Yeah, that was huge.
It was huge. And he's like, you got to buy the brand with the grandmother on the front. And
that's right.
And I just remembered grandma, and then he said the word for it, which is abuelita. And I went to the shopping center.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe the one he was referring to was the one made by Nestle.
Yep.
And it was,
Nestle
I think,
product.
the
Thanks,
most
Nestle.
probably mass-produced one. And I was hoping to go to some
It was nice, though.
fancy little shop with
in a Hessian bag.
artisan. Oh, goddamn.
Hot
Single
chocolate.
origin.
I don't think so.
Rubbish. But you know what? We brought it back and I love it.
I was going to say, why don't I describe Playa for everyone?
Go for it.
Not a huge town. Has a population of roughly around 60,000. It's located on the Yucatan Peninsula, which is like the northeastern province of Quintana Roo in Mexico. It's crystal clear waters are well known, and their sea is the Mexican Caribbean. So don't say Caribbean, otherwise you get corrected by people.
Yep.
They also share the same waters with parts of USA, Cuba, and Jamaica.
Nice.
Playa del Carmen is also just a boat ride away from that beautiful island, Cozumel, which we didn't go to.
Yeah, so we've left some things for us to do.
Yeah, we have. It's got an awesome old town, apparently.
Yeah.
And some ruins.
The issue was that we didn't want to leave the pool
well,
and the beach.
We had such a good time at the beach and the pool that we did limit ourselves. Apparently, Cozumel Island has one of the nicest beaches in Mexico, but, I haven't gone there, so I can't comment. But there's also a place near Playa del Carmen, which we didn't go to either, which was Tulum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So really would like to go to Tulum next time.
Your parents have been there.
Yeah, they've been to Tulum. They've been nearly everywhere.
That's true. That's true.
So I would say Playa del Carmen is a really cool place to actually base yourself because you've got access to Tulum to the south. You've got access to Cancun in the north. And if you go west, you've got access to Chichen Itza. But the swimming at Playa del Carmen's main beach is superb. It's safe for families.
Yeah. So the one question I always get asked when I tell people I've gone to Mexico, they always ask me, is it safe?
Yeah, it's safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not dangerous at all.
So I always tell them that obviously any place you go, you need to do your research and find out what is safe, where is safe rather, and stick to those sorts of areas. I mean, it's a resort. We didn't really see any signs of issues or police with big machine guns or anything like that.
Oh, the last night there was guys in the back of like a pickup truck with machine guns. I suppose.
But, I mean...
Other than that, there was nothing.
I don't see it as like you mentioned, the guy that offered you drugs and whatever.
Oh, it wasn't...
Well, you got to be an idiot to buy it, so...
Well, you just got to... You can't be...
Complacent.
Complacent. Yeah, you can't be complacent when you're actually overseas. How's that shoulder of yours?
Yeah.
Because you got a bad shoulder at the moment.
I do.
If you hear Mandy or
Sorry,
someone
moaning
moving around or moaning, that's her shoulder, not me.
Sorry, guys.
I was going to say, what do you think of the halcyon water? Do you like that word?
Wow.
Halcyon.
The waters of the Caribbean.
They're so clear. Halcyon means clear, if anyone's wondering.
So I'm a big fan of clear water beaches.
Me
Blue.
too. So you know where you're going. You know if there's sharks. You know if there's something to step on.
So this is our natural instinct being born in Australia is we need to know what the hell is underneath all this water, and we need to know where we're swimming and what's going on. Yep. We have an array of poisonous animals and dangerous animals.
So we're prepared.
Our spider senses are already very heightened.
Absolutely.
So when we go to places where the water is clear and halcyon, as you mentioned.
Correct.
We're already relaxed. We don't have to think about that stuff.
Because we can see what's coming.
We see that white pointer, we know we're going to get out.
There's no white pointers around there, which is good.
So, yeah. And it's true. It's in our DNA.
Yeah.
We're not complacent.
No.
So the water is stunning.
We've got the 10 most deadliest snakes.
I think the top 9.
Yeah, top 9 out of the top 10 or top 10. We've got, dangerous sharks, dangerous jellyfish, dangerous octopus. You name it, anywhere
Spiders.
In Australia, we have dangerous things. Spiders, dangerous people even.
Most definitely. So, yeah, the water was cool. Really nice. It's nice to say that we've swum in the Caribbean.
It's better than the water in Asia so far.
Definitely.
So some of those places like in Malaysia or Thailand.
With the exception of that one island we went to.
Or Koh Lipe.
Yeah.
In Thailand.
Which was a bit remote, so that's why. Absolutely
remote. But it is a boat ride from Langkawi, so
yeah,
try and get there. I'm not tired. I always told myself, remember the first thing to do in the morning before breakfast is to place my towels on the chairs. Mm-hmm. So remember, we placed our towels on the towels, our towels on the chairs.
We're one of those people.
Yeah, we're one of those people. So we got up early. We always made sure we had our towels ready. So, you know how we started getting friendly with the staff and then we didn't even have to do anything? They just said, oh, hey, you're here again.
I think because Australians are naturally friendly.
Yeah.
And interested.
Yeah.
And so I think we weren't as dismissive as what some other guests were. And so they were...
Some guests were mean.
Really mean. So they took a liking to us.
Yeah, and that's why, every morning after that one morning, they would set up the towel. They would even set up little headrests or second towels for our heads.
Yeah, for our pillows.
I just think that's so nice.
It was amazing.
One thing I do regret, though, is that we never swum in a cenote. That would have been the most majestic
You know what the issue
thing
is?
to do.
We became super lazy by the end of our trip.
We're the laziest. See what's happening to me? I'm talking about this holiday, and I'm suddenly just so relaxed.
So, swimming, reading, drinking, eating, swimming, reading, drinking, eating.
Swimming, eating,
on repeat
drinking,
for about 4 days. And I mean, we've never been those sorts of people that have had that type of holiday.
We're explorers.
We are explorers. And when we looked at each other and said, do you want to go to Cozumel? And we're like, no, it's a bit hard.
Do you want to do a cenote?
And we considered hiring a car, and we did some research about driving, and then we kind of decided against it.
I weaned off that thought of driving.
It seemed a bit dangerous, and then we have to organise some transportation. Which one do we go to? So it all became...
And then the bus to the cenote that we wanted to go to, or the bus to Tulum, it felt like
it was just an effort.
It goes at one time, and then how do you get back and all this type of stuff.
But we can be proud of something.
What's that?
Chicken pizza.
Chicken pizza. The old chicken pizza joke. Yeah, I'll get to that, I promise.
Right,
I promise I'll get to that one. But I was just going to say, if anyone doesn't know what a cenote is, it's like a fresh waterhole, like a waterhole from... Well, it's kind of like the water is in like a cave underneath the ground. It's kind of come from the ocean even and come up through a cave thing.
Yeah, a limestone cave.
Limestone cave, and then it's like made a pool, which is super crystal clear.
Yeah.
You can see the rocks underneath you.
It's because that area's...
it's not thermal,
it's limestone. And it's not thermal, but it's got to do with the rock in that area, and it creates like these water holes that are from underground water caves.
Yeah, if you're into photography, taking photos of those water holes, it would be good on desktop backgrounds and stuff.
Definitely, and indigenous to our area for sure.
Oh, they are. It's a popular activity when you're in the Yucatan Peninsula.
Yeah, and I would suggest probably doing it earlier in your trip if you're like us, less adventurous towards the end.
Well, there's a few in Playa del Carmen. There's Cenote Chactun. Mm-hmm. That's just located a few kilometers from Playa. It's perfect for snorkeling and swimming. It actually has low-lit caverns, so you're swimming through these like caves. It's just a little bit lit, and it's really cool. You got stalactites, not stalactites.
Stalagmites.
No stalactites.
No.
They're the pointy ones that hang from the cave ceilings.
Yeah.
Another cenote I check out if you're in Playa is a cenote Huaha. X-C-A-Ha. Huaha. So that's a swimming hole within Playa. It doesn't seem as pretty as Chactun, but it's still nice to visit, cool down if you're really hot, because Mexico's freaking boiling.
It's really hot.
And it's humid.
Very humid.
So it feels like Singapore maybe. And also there's this cenote called Cenote Cristalino.
Oh, nice.
It's the largest of the cenotes. It's kind of like a big open rock pool. Plenty of space to swim, like hundreds of people can swim in there, and you don't bump into anyone.
Why the hell didn't we go?
I don't know.
Jesus.
You can take really cool pictures there too. So
what the hell?
Definitely got to do this next time.
Don't be us.
Don't be us. Also, I found like going to Mexico, if you want to do like really good like swimming adventures, and you really want a taste of some really clear water, it's actually closer than going like to Europe.
Oh, yeah. You mean
doing
from
some
here?
of the clear waters, from Melbourne.
I mean, man, Melbourne to LA?
Melbourne to LA is 14 hours.
LA
13
to
and a half,
LA to
maybe.
Mexico. You know
5
what? It's the
hours.
same distance. What's the other way you can go there? You have
You
to
know
go
what?
through the States.
Yeah, you're probably right, actually.
It
Don't worry about
doesn't
what I just
seem
said.
as long.
But why doesn't it seem as long?
I have no idea.
I'll tell you why, because we were in LA. We were in the States for a while before we went to Mexico.
I think we broke it up, that's why.
And then we went to Mexico for a bit, and then we flew back to LA and had the hotel room to rest in.
Yeah.
Then we
Some
had time
in and
on
out.
Venice Beach, and then we flew home from there.
We ate some In and Out.
Oh, In-N-Out burgers. Oh, my God. They're
And
the
then
best.
and then we went home.
My friend Chris is an In-N-Out fanboy.
From Yellow Productions.
Oh, Chris Rainey from Yellow Productions loves his what's that burger?
Double.
Oh, double. He would have hated me if I forgot it.
Oh my God, it's so delicious.
Double. So, I was going to say one of the attractions we made sure we got our butts off, or we made sure we weren't going to just relax on beach chairs. We had to see this thing. So this is one thing that we made sure we saw was chicken itza, or as I told these guys, chicken pizza. So it was these two Mexican security guards at the Grand Hyatt. They were just making sure everyone's all right. So you've got the guests of the hotel are happy. There's no intruders coming to swim in the pool and all that. But I went up to them and, we had a bit of a chat. And I said, tomorrow we're going to chicken pizza. And they were like, what? I said, well, chicken pizza. And then I tried to describe to the guy exactly what I meant. And when I actually described it, he just
and when you said
fell down with laughing.
Chichen Itza.
Because I said Chichen Itza, chicken pizza. And he went, chicken pizza, oh my God. And then he just laughed and told his other friend, and then he told me in English, he said, I'm going to tell everyone this. I will tell everyone my joke. And he was in tears.
Okay, so chicken pizza or Chichen Itza.
Chicken pizza.
We had to get up at 4:20 a.m. to be ready to catch the bus from Cancun.
Yep.
And the bus ride's about...
We missed our alarm though.
Yeah, so I was in charge of setting the alarm, which I did, but it didn't go off because I selected PM, not AM. And so for some freaking miracle, I woke up.
Yeah,
I flipped
you
out.
must have just woke up, and then you flipped out, and then I flipped out and said, "We've got 5 minutes." No, yeah, about 5 minutes to get downstairs, to get all our clothes on, to get the bags ready,
Yeah.
to go on this epic adventure to one of the modern seven wonders of the world.
Yeah.
And it's it's known for its Mayan architecture.
Yeah.
Dazzling masterpiece of pyramids. I didn't want to miss this for a second, so we made sure we were downstairs and ready, but then we figured out
that we were the last pickup.
We were the last pickup, and it was actually about 20 minutes plus
more. After 5 a.m. Yeah.
After 5 a.m. So it was quite a lot longer of a wait than what I thought. I thought we missed it for sure. I thought we missed it.
Yeah. And then
I was just going to go back and sit by the lounge pool and I'm drowning my sorrows.
But we were picked up by a bus, and it was about 3 hours.
It was about 3 hours, two buses.
It was tiring. Definitely.
Yeah, well, they advised that Chichen Itza is better viewed when there's hardly any tourists there, which is true.
And before it gets super hot.
And before it gets super hot. So
So we did. We got there at 8 a.m.
Yeah. You know when you look up pictures of Chichen Itza and you see that main pyramid, it's called Viche or Vich.
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 Yeah. And Vis.
Or Vis. Sorry, Vis. You're right. So that's a Mayan word for Temple of Kulkan.
Oh, Kulkan.
Temple of Kukulkan. Kukulkan, otherwise known in English as El Castillo.
It was pretty awesome. We got there early, and so it was already hot, and we were melting. So I can imagine what it's like in the heat of the day.
Even our tour guide, who's a Mayan guy, was melting himself. He was melting.
But it was really awesome to have the Mayan tour guides express to you about their culture and this place that they hold very sacred.
Well, it is a sacred place because the empire reigned from 750 AD to, I think it was 1200 AD.
Wow.
So, I mean, they were the kings back then for, what was that, 450 years.
Mm. And I think they explained to us about the sacrifices, and I think the misnomers around the sacrifices, that it wasn't actually people being sacrificed, but actually the king and queen would go up to their temple and cut into their mouths and tongues and bloodlet and get hallucinations and so and then a lot about, but they were pretty violent. Heads cut off and stuff like that. But being in that environment and seeing it, like you said, one of the modern seven wonders of the world, was pretty cool.
Oh, it's amazing.
And it was definitely worth getting up at 4:20.
Luckily, we got there at 8 a.m. We were the first bus. I think there was a few other cars around, but when we actually ended up leaving at around 11:30 a.m., maybe it was something like that. I think we were there a couple of hours. Yeah, it was packed. It was absolutely packed.
And it was really hot already.
Remember my camera fogged up?
Definitely.
And I was drenched in sweat. I couldn't even take photos properly. It was all foggy. So my photos now are still foggy.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, man, I didn't have the right demister cloths and stuff.
But
next time I know.
But guess what we did straight after when we got back?
Swim.
Pool and drinks.
Yeah, remember our tour guide? He was so nice. Frank.
Oh, Frank, he was cute.
Remember Frank, and he did that clap?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And then it would reverberate, and you'd hear it, and it sounds like a bird.
Got people standing around doing that all day.
It was more like quack, quack, quack.
Yeah.
Quack, quack, quack.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was nice to see him selling all the arts and crafts where I bought some little skulls and stuff.
The souvenirs, I know it sounds tacky and all,
in
but
the grounds.
The souvenir in the grounds, I think they allow for Mayans to come and sell their wares, obviously because it's part of their grounds.
Absolutely. They do.
And they're cheaper, they're better quality, they're a lot more fun, a lot more variety. So if you're going to go to Playa, forget about whatever.
Cinque
Just go there to buy your stuff.
Absolutely. It's
I think
better.
we bought something back illegal, a bone skull.
Yeah, I think I bought a skull that was made
I
of
don't think it's stone.
human bone.
Or yeah, I hope not, but
I think it was.
Yeah.
Some crazy shit's been happening in our house recently. No, I'm only kidding. But yeah, I just love the colours. Those skulls are amazingly painted. I think they're absolutely beautiful. I don't think they're freaky or anything. I just really like them.
I love them too.
And the people that we gave the skulls to love them as well. And nothing bad has happened. Nothing bad has happened. But
it's not. It's not about bad things. It's about celebrating death.
Well, celebrating
so
death, which is a nice thing. I think we don't do enough of that in our Western culture. We seem to just mourn on it.
Yep.
So I was going to say, some of my notes I was going to talk about how we ate food, but we've talked a lot about that food, and we've also mentioned Andrea, who was so nice.
Amazing.
She did so much for us, so I just want to say that we had an amazing trip to Playa del Carmen. Actually, you know what? One thing I must mention is the Frida Kahlo Museum, because I've got it in my notes, and I wanted to say something before we move on to Bangkok.
Yeah.
Which might be another podcast because we're gone like way over time. And I'm so hot and sweaty. But the Bangkok part probably wouldn't last long.
Let's do part 2.
I reckon we do part two. So Frida Kahlo Museum is located in Mexico City, the actual real one. It's got all her artwork, amazing artwork.
So we didn't know much about her, I suppose. We knew she was of Mexican descent. And
I knew her face.
Of course, everyone has that image of her. But, I mean, we didn't know much about... And we are art fans, and we do go to our National Gallery often when they do have...
For sure we do.
Various exhibitions.
Expeditions or exhibitions?
Exhibitions. And so we were walking along the main street, and this popped up.
Well, we had dinner the previous night there, remember?
Yep. Not there.
And that place wasn't that good. So I wouldn't recommend that place for dinner. And over the road from that place was the Frida Kahlo restaurant. Then we dug a little deeper and we found out that there's a brand new museum underneath that which wasn't opened until the day after.
That's right.
So we were there on, I think...
Opening day.
Mm-hmm. So we were there opening day and we were one of the first tourists.
Yeah.
The Mexican guy that took us around was so nice.
Amazing. So I think the thought behind this being opened up in Playa del Carmen is because, like you said, in Mexico City there's a big... I think it's her place is there. Her house is there, so you can go see that.
Yes, I think it's her place, yeah.
Yeah, and so the idea is because Playa del Carmen's quite touristic, that they wanted to expose foreigners to Frida Kahlo and her work, and so they've created this little museum. And like Ben said, we were there at the opening day, and we had a guided tour around all of the exhibits, and we spoke to, and I wish I knew his name, and we spoke to
Alejandro.
About
I think it was Alejandro.
I think it was.
And you've got to say that if you have full tongue. Alejandro.
About all her works, and we had awesome conversation. It was awesome. We were talking about surrealism. We were talking about what everything meant, how she felt, her bed, her husband, her personality. It was just really, really cool to learn from it, from someone that was really passionate about it too.
But there's some negative people. I was reading forums when we got back, and people were saying, but there's no real artwork. It's all just some copies of her stuff. I mean, come on.
I think it was more about exposing them to who she was and her life.
Exactly.
It wasn't about it being a...
it was more a diary of her life.
Yeah, it wasn't about being a renowned...
there was that interactive part that they sat us down, remember?
Yeah.
And that was a really cool little cartoon that they had done and actually describes the way she got sick.
Yeah, definitely. But even
that was cool.
And there were projections of her work, and I think it's it's a bit critical of. It's so easy for people to be critical.
It's easy to judge. It's easy to be negative.
You've got so true. But you've got to take in the culture that they're proud of.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, make the trip to Mexico City if you want to see original artwork and go be exposed to it. But what's available to you there, which is really not many cultural places that you can see. Okay, you can travel to Chichen Itza, but I mean, around the main area, unless you go off the beaten track, you're not going to see anything like that.
No. Absolutely
so
not.
embrace it. Don't bag it.
We were so lucky to see that.
For sure.
Like, I'm so happy.
I agree.
So, that's the Playa del Carmen part of this podcast. Now we've got the Bangkok part, which I titled Bangkok Nearly Killed Me, because it nearly did. I was that sick.
I think we need to do a part 2.
Okay, we'll do a part 2. Be prepared for part 2 on Bangkok. Okay, guys. Bangkok nearly killed me. Ciao. Take care, guys. Thanks for listening. Really appreciate Mandy on the podcast today, my lovely wife.
My pleasure.
If you want to email me, it's travelmanpodcast@gmail.com. Facebook is Travelman Podcast. Instagram, Travelman Podcast. Website, as I say all the time, is notoriously hard to get to. One day I'll make a proper website. But for now, it's what it is. What else? I'm on SoundCloud. I'm on all good podcast apps. Obviously, you can find me through iTunes. However you found me now, I thank you. Leave a 5-star rating if you can. Leave a review. Send me an email. I always want to know what people think. So thank you. Thanks for listening. And ta-ta.